You know all about the Bruins. It's football royalty, essentially. But what insight can you give us on the Bruins?
Well, it was back in when the Rev first opened that the school, the Redlands District, was looking at Dick as perhaps the head coach, and it didn't work out. And Dick said that it was probably the best thing for him not to come here, because he then opened up Kaiser High School and he won 2 titles out there.
Didn't work out too bad for him.
No, it didn't, and that's why he wanted to come to Rev, to open up a new high school back in the day, '98. So unfortunately for Rev, they had a bad start, because the first 5 years they were 1-48.
As a brand new school and just getting the program off the ground.
And one of the reasons was that they started with juniors and let their sophomores and freshmen just, they were bad off, and so they were 1-48 when Kurt took over 13 years ago, and his first year he went 6-4-1. So from that point, the school's become a very respectable program, and he's won 9 CBL titles, 6 in a row. So, I mean, they know how to play in the big games and circumstances.
Let me ask you this, Louis. I talked to Kurt Bruick after they defeated Riverside Poly for the Inland Division Championship, and he was saying for all the CIF titles and the mythical national titles and the league titles that his father, Dick Bruick, had won, it felt different. It was something special about watching his son get the job done and win his first CIF championship. How would you put it in your perspective of, your conversations with the Bruick family and seeing the son, get his first CIF title and having his dad there in attendance to kind of congratulate and celebrate with him?
Dick's very proud, and not only of Kurt, but also his sister, who's Kristen, who's the athletic director at one of the local high schools, and her team last year won the state cross-country title. So, I mean, he's very proud of her and what she's done. And he's also very proud of his other son, Kyle, who is, now I think he's at Burbank, but he was at various schools as an activities director. So he's very proud of the fact that they've done well and have gone into education. One of the things that Dick said was that the thing he's most proud of is that he had 16 former players become head coaches, and of those 16, and he's got 30 ex-assistants who become head coaches. So that to him is more important than anything else, other than the titles, everything else, that his players have gone into education, become teachers, and become coaches. So he's a very proud man for that reason alone.
It's got quite the coaching tree, it sounds like.
It really does, and it's prevalent around here. I mean, Kurt's got Chalon Tessitore as a defensive guy who played with Kurt and was at Fontana as well. So he's very proud of that fact, and just waiting to play Bakersfield.
Now, Louis, does that also lend a hand to the fact that maybe players that are on campus want to play for him because of that name?
I think so. And here's another thing that not many people realize, but a lot of Fontana kids that played at Fontana now live in Redlands, and they send their kids to Rev. So that's a pretty good statement, that they would move into this town so that their sons could play for Kurt. I think that speaks volumes. I mean, not everybody on Rev has a parent that lives in Redlands, but there are quite a few. So I think that says something about the legacy of that family.
How much input do you think Dick Bruick gives Kurt on game planning, or I don't want to say second guessing, but maybe like Monday morning quarterback kind of stuff, like, hey Kurt, have you thought about doing this, or I would have done this? Do you think he dabbles, or do you think he just lets Kurt make his own legacy?
None. No, he used to help Kurt. We'll break down some film, but he's not a second guesser by any means. Kurt is a guy, and he knows that, because he knows that he didn't like it when he was coaching, so he's not doing it.
Trevor, let me ask you from a Ridgeview perspective. Obviously, if you live in this area, you know the Bruick family. They've done a lot for high school football. Dennis Manning quickly putting Ridgeview on the map up in the Bakersfield area. I mean, like you said, was it 4 straight Valley Championship games and whatnot? I mean, so from a coaching matchup in this one, we've got the Bruicks down here, which we said is high school football royalty. Dennis Manning, who's quickly building his own empire in Bakersfield. Of course, we all know the Drillers and Paul Gola, but Dennis Manning quietly becoming one of the big-name head coaches in Kern County.
And he's very well respected. He's a guy that I think that everybody looks at and goes, that is a head ball coach. And I think he garners that respect not only from his players, not only from his assistant coaches and his players, but from other players within the region. They understand that, our chief analyst, Justin Roberts, I think that what he said over and over again here on BVarsity Live is, you never bet against Dennis Manning, because this is a guy that knows football through and through, maybe better than any coach in Kern County, and you're never going to get anything by him. If you get by him once, you're never going to get by him again. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people understand, is that this guy knows how to coach football, and you can see it. Like we said, the program was 500 give or take before he came on, and now he's something like 59-18 in six seasons, and that's a phenomenal statement for a guy to be able to turn around a program that quickly and then keep it consistently good year in and year out.
All right, Louis, before we let you go, let's get your professional analysis. What do you think are the keys tonight as Rev takes on the Ridgeview Wolfpack?
You mean you're going to pay me?
I didn't say that. I just wanted your professional analysis. I don't got any. Well, Trevor will pay you.
There you go.
$1. Man, he's not going to tell us very much for $1, Trevor.
Well, I think Rev's going to win, because I think it's a long trip, and I don't care if they were here yesterday, it might be different, but they're driving down today, right? And that's a long trip. I mean, we see that here when our teams have to go up to Ventura. You see what happens, and they're coming down from Bakersfield. So I think that's going to have a real impact on this game. Just, you're sitting in the bus for 3-4 hours. That's tough. That's really tough. And one of the things that I've said before is that I think the state CIF and the Southern Section and perhaps Bakersfield should, mandate these games at a bigger venue that it's equal to both sides, and not this 4-hour trip down here. So.
Maybe could have done it in like Santa Clarita, maybe like College of the Canyons, or
somewhere in there where both teams could travel, and one team didn't have to go.
I think the one big thing that Ron Nichetti from the CIF said that they want to be able to give back to the CIF schools, to give them the tickets, the gate, and all that kind of stuff. But you got to have a venue bigger than this, and I completely agree.
Besides, what's a split? I think a state takes 100%. What kind of gate do the teams get? Do they get their expenses paid? Yeah, and the CIF is no different. The Southern Section, they take 60% of their gate. So the teams aren't making money in the postseason, not at all. And I really have a problem with that.
No money, but rich in competition, as Ridgeview is taking on Redlands East Valley tonight. Division II SoCal Regional. Louis Brewster, we appreciate the time and enjoy the game tonight as the Wildcats take on the Wolfpack.
Thank you guys.
All right, we come back on BVarsity Live. More on the Redlands East Valley Wildcats. We will hear from their head coach, Kurt Bruick, as well as some of their key players as they take on the Wolfpack tonight in Redlands at Citrus Valley High School. For Trevor and Pep, we'll be right back on BVarsity Live.
You know what, after kind of listening to people talk, I knew about 1 a.m. on Saturday morning that we had a really, really good shot of being in the state region.